Okay, have you ever stopped to wonder, how many different lottery combinations are actually possible? Or something simpler, like how many ways can you arrange your favorite books on a shelf? Well, that's the magic of what we're talking about today, combinatorics. It's really just the art of counting smartly, and we're going to break it all down together.
So here's our game plan. We're going to go on a little journey that'll take you from just, counting on your fingers to being a real strategic problem solver. We'll kick things off with a pretty cool concept, then we'll build up our toolkit, and finally, we'll put everything to the test with some actual challenges.
All right, let's just dive right in. We're going to start with a super simple idea that kind of reveals the whole secret to counting without having to actually count everything one by one.
Okay, so take a second and really think about this. How would you go about solving it? Would you actually sit down and write out every single outfit? Shirt 1 with pants 1, shirt 1 with pants 2? Yeah, that sounds pretty tedious, right?
But what if I told you there's a much, much faster way? A shortcut to get the answer in seconds instead of minutes. That is the power of combinatorics. It's all about thinking smarter, not harder.
So what exactly is combinatorics? Think of it as your secret weapon for tackling these big, complex counting problems. It's basically a set of rules and formulas that'll save you a ton of time, help you avoid mistakes, and really just make you a master of figuring out all the possibilities.
Okay, so now that you've had a little taste of the power here, it's time to actually build our toolkit. And you know what the best part is? It all comes down to just two basic rules. That's it.
Seriously, it all boils down to one simple question. Are we talking about an or situation or an and situation? If you're choosing between one option or another, you add them up. But if you're combining one choice and another choice, you multiply. That's really the core of everything right there.
All right, now let's add a little twist. What happens if the order of your choices suddenly matters? What if the sequence is just as important as what you picked? This brings us to something called a permutation. It's a kind of fancy name, but all it means is an arrangement where order is absolutely key. Think about a race, right? Finishing first is completely different from finishing second, even if it's the same two runners. That's a permutation in a nutshell.
Now, to deal with permutations, we have this awesome little tool called a factorial. Yeah, that little exclamation mark you see? It's a total powerhouse of a shortcut. It's pretty much the key to figuring out the total number of ways you can arrange a set of items.
Okay, don't let this formula scare you off. Seriously, it's just a supercharged version of that multiplication idea we already talked about. It's like a shortcut for our shortcut. And trust me, it's going to make your life way, way easier.
All right, so let's completely flip the script now. What if the order doesn't matter at all? Like, what if you're just picking a team for a project? Getting picked first or picked last, you're still on the team, right? The order is irrelevant.
So welcome to the world of combinations. Here, it's the group that's the star of the show, not the order. I love this fruit salad analogy. An apple and a banana in a bowl is the same mix, no matter which one you tossed in first. Simple as that.
And this right here, this is a total game changer. See, a combination is really just a permutation where we've corrected for overcounting. If you use a permutation when order doesn't matter, you're counting way too many things, all the duplicates. The combination is what cleans all that up.
So how do we fix that overcounting? It's actually pretty clever. We just take our permutation answer and we divide by all the duplicate arrangements. That simple division is what gets rid of all the redundant stuff we don't care about. Okay, so this brings us to what is basically the million-dollar question. This is the one thing you have to ask yourself that will guide you to the right answer in pretty much any counting problem.
And here it is. This is basically your cheat sheet for everything we've talked about. It's all about listening for those keywords. If you see words like arrange, rank, order, position, boom, you know order matters, so it's a permutation. If you see words like select, choose, pick, or team, you know it's a combination.
All right, that's enough theory for now. It's time to actually get our hands dirty. Let's tackle a real problem and see how this stuff works in action and how much time it can really save us. Okay, here's our challenge. How many three-digit numbers can we make from the digits 1, 2, 3, and 4 if we can't repeat any? So, before we do anything, let's ask that key question: for a three-digit number, does the order of the digits matter? Oh yeah, absolutely it does. The number 1, 2, 3 is totally different from 3, 2, 1, right? So we know order matters, which means we're in permutation land. So let's just break it down step by step. For that first digit, we've got 4 options. For the second digit, we only have 3 left. And for the third, we've got 2.
So we just multiply those choices together. 4 times 3 times 2.
and that gives us 24, a grand total of 24 possible numbers. And there's our answer.
But remember that shortcut? Since we know order matters, it's a permutation problem. We can just use our formula. We're picking 3 digits from a set of 4, so that's 4p3, and what do you know? It gives us 24. See? It's a direct path to the same answer. Now that is a real shortcut.
You know, becoming a pro at this stuff isn't just about knowing the formulas. It's also about knowing the common mistakes to avoid. These are the big ones that trip people up all the time. Using a combination for something like a password, big mistake. Mixing up when to add versus multiply. And a really sneaky one, forgetting to check if repetition is allowed. Keep an eye out for these.
Okay, so now it's your turn. We're going to leave you with this little challenge to really put your new skills to the test. Here's a little hint to get you started. What makes a number divisible by 5? It all comes down to that very last digit. So think about that first, and the rest will fall into place. You've got all the tools now. Have fun with it.